I ordered a gift. Felipe, will you remove the cushion behind you?
Oh, what is this?
Welcome back to another episode of Caps Off presented by The Game Day. We are officially back from the draft. Felipe, congrats on getting drafted.
Yeah,
Thanks,
congrats,
guys.
bro.
Appreciate
You
it.
excited
About
to
damn
be
time.
to go play with Patrick Mahomes?
I am. Yeah, they told me that. What's it? Who's the running back for them right now?
Isaiah
Isaiah
Pacheco?
Pacheco?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's
spacing,
crazy.
I'm spacing a
we
bit.
can't forget that one.
Oh my
so
God.
sorry.
Let's start over.
They,
Shall we?
they told me that Isaiah Pacheco's time is limited and that I'm next up in the
Well, you're a
backfield.
dog, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, dig a dog.
Dig a dog.
You are.
But yeah,
Big
the draft
dog.
was great.
Sick time,
Pretty
honestly.
exhausted. How about yourself? Jack, you look a little bit like Johnny Bravo this morning.
Okay. Don't know how to take that. Yeah, I'm tired.
With the hair.
I am too. I literally forgot my favorite running back, bro. Like, who's that guy on the Chiefs?
It was a good time though. It was pretty cool to like be able to meet those players and, you know, see their whole, like get to meet them before they're superstars is like kind of a sick experience.
What was your
You know?
quickly best memory from the draft?
Oof. Probably
You don't think
Bijan.
Jack looks like that guy though? Jack, with the hair right now.
Just spiked up like that?
Yeah.
Bro,
It is
my
spiked up
my hair's
right now.
short
It's
right
not
now.
as, it's not as,
It's just a style. It's a
but I
style.
see what you're saying. Probably Bijan
Let's go.
Robinson finding out that he had a nephew, not a real nephew, but like
I
that.
see.
A fake nephew.
Yeah, go check out the video on Condo's burner TikTok account. It's a good,
Yeah.
it's a good video.
What was
But,
your favorite?
That was pretty hilarious.
Damn, I feel like I was thinking about it the other day and I had one that's clear. And again, I'm spacey, so
Mozzie
Right.
Smith.
Did you not have your coffee this morning?
I didn't have my La Cologne. Maybe that's what's
No
throwing me off.
Americano?
Usually
I just,
have
had,
a La Cologne,
I just had a
bro.
little espresso from here, which did
Oh,
do
this
it.
espresso here sucks balls.
Yeah, the little
dude.
But you were up
Insane.
at 5. What were you doing between 5 and now?
I worked out, you know. It's weird, bro. I think it's just like I'm still hungover from the draft, from the
right.
barbecue, and
Dude, that was my favorite memory
Which
from the
one?
draft. The second night,
Second.
bro.
Gates.
You like Gates more?
Gates
yeah.
barbecue. Holy shit.
You thought
that thing
Gates was better
good.
than Jack
I
Stack?
I thought
did,
Gates was
did.
better than Jack
I like
Stack.
Jack Stack.
Oh,
That
Jack
was
Stack way
fire.
better.
I thought Jack Stack was
I
better, although
love
Gates is
Gates.
phenomenal too.
They're both really good.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Jack Stack was amazing.
The problem with
but
Jack
something about
Stack-
Gates hit different that night.
Well, it could have
like,
been also we were just exhausted. And
I
the
think
service was great.
The
Erica
I would say the atmosphere and service at Gates is really good. It's way
Erica
better.
was phenomenal.
Oh
yeah,
my
and
God.
it's just like an old school ass spot. But
different.
like Jack Stack, dude.
It's more of a
you
sit
tell
down
me
place,
Those
more put
burnt
together.
end, dude.
No, they were
The burnt ends at Jack Stack.
Oh
fucking
my
good.
God.
God.
Bigs,
That's
bro.
the best thing on
brisket.
any
Also-
menu in any place in the country.
The lamb was
The lamb
fucking
was phenomenal.
insane.
Lamb rib.
But
Oh,
Jack
the
Stack
cheesy
was great,
corn
but the
bake.
way I felt with the Jack Stack is like it's almost like you threw a lob, and because you didn't have any sauce, it was like
Bro,
a layup.
you are way
Yeah,
too
but
hung
you're a
up on the
sauce guy,
sauce.
I am.
bro.
That's why I like Gates.
So you
I
gotta
like getting
understand
saucy.
that, like,
I like
that's-
getting saucy too, but something
I'm
about
not.
Gates.
See, I'm not.
subjective.
I'm not
It's
a barbecue
subjective.
sauce guy. I don't like
neither.
barbecue
Me neither.
sauce.
What was your favorite memory?
All right, now that we've had some time to think, not really. We're just
We can
talking
go to
about,
Jack
we're just
right
talking
You know
about
what?
barbecue.
It might be surviving, living in the fucking hood for
We
were in the hood for
4
a
or
bit.
5 days.
No, my favorite memory was probably the draft and everything was awesome, and just being out there was awesome. But I think a few people just coming up to us and
Yeah.
recognizing us as Caps Off.
Sick.
That was cool.
Wanting some pictures and stuff like that. Like that was fucking dope.
Yeah.
So
I was
just
gonna say that.
yeah, just to know that we're making an impact like that is pretty cool.
Bro, like the kid in the Saints jersey that came up to us, and he was like,
That was
he's like,
fucking sick,
he's
bro.
like, because like the first guy came up, he was like, oh, like you guys are Caps Off, right? Like, yeah, what's up? We dapped him up, like Leap, I talked to him, and then the second guy was like, yo, can I get a picture real quick? I was like, oh fuck, like
Yeah, that's
You
insane.
guys got it more than us, but like when we were
because you
standing,
guys were inside the whole time.
I know, but I'm saying when we were on the lawn and that guy came up, he's like, "You guys are on YouTube, right?"
You know, I was like,
There we go.
YouTube, you know what's on YouTube?
Yeah, that was cool.
And then when Bryce Young was like, "Yo, y'all the Caps Off
what I'm
with,"
saying.
we're like, "Yeah, bro.
that
Like,
was
how's it
crazy.
feel to be drafted?" Like,
Yeah,
you
then
know,
Anthony Rich should
pretty
call me a
cool.
motherfucker because he listens to the pod all the time. He knows that shit talk.
My favorite memory was definitely seeing Zay get drafted.
that was
cool.
dope.
Yeah, that's like a childhood
Actually, that was
friend.
pretty cool how like he recognized you from
Yeah,
high
that
school and
was
stuff like
pretty
that. For
sick.
those
Like-
that don't know, Adam and Zay went to high school together.
They play basketball together.
Yeah,
Shout out U School.
Zay that was like a sentimental moment, like because
Yeah.
he's so much younger. So to see him get drafted,
That's
to see
sick.
all the stars, you know, talking
That
about
is
him, that
dope.
was really cool. So I'm happy for him. Okay, before we jump into it,
Just on Zay Flowers, I thought it was interesting. It's always interesting to hear how these like college guys know nothing about the NFL, and he like literally didn't know anything about his division. He was like, "Who's in my division?"
Yeah, they were like, "You excited to play in the
what?
AFC North?" He was like,
AFC North?
"Who's in the AFC
And
North?"
then they were like, "Oh, Steelers, whatever." And then
He's like,
it was
"Oh,
like,
shit,
bunch
we
of
got a good
dogs.
draft.
Yeah, it's a
Damn,
bunch of-
he's gonna come on the pod, so that's gonna be a fun episode. So
Oh,
stay
I
tuned.
can't
Now,
wait.
Before we jump back into it, I forgot something that I was supposed to bring to Kansas
no.
City as a gift. I ordered a gift the first week of April after a video dropped. And so before we jump into the segment to talk about the draft, Felipe, will you remove the cushion behind you and just grab the package that is behind that cushion and open it up, please?
Oh my God.
What do you got?
So
I feel like I'm getting iced, but with the present.
I thought it
so
was
there's
an
two
ice.
different
I have
styles,
emergency
right?
ices
So
in my desk.
Jack ices people. I buy a gift for someone. So
Ice is a gift in itself.
I bought this April 5th after seeing.
Bro, what is this?
Let me see.
After seeing, open it up. Open it up.
Yo, full send, bro.
So just to speak on it.
Let me see that shit.
Hold that up
Yo,
for the
with the
camera.
cowboy hat.
Hasbulla
Show
is
them
a
wide also.
Has-
Oh my
that is
God.
shit.
Oh, bro.
Hasbulla is a Cowboys fan, so I had to get the Cowboys fan and the Hasbulla fan.
Yo, we them boys.
Put it on. So I bought Felipe. I had to get Felipe a Hasbulla
bro,
and
that
a
is
Cowboy
fire.
hat.
That is so sick.
Yo, wait, let's see how it
Oh, that shit looks cool. He's a Cowboys fan, bro.
Put that shit on, bro.
That is sick.
So yeah,
I appreciate it.
That's the best shirt you own now.
I was watching.
It looks like a nice shirt. That's a nice
When
material.
I was watching the Hasbulla episode, it was like 12 at night. I was watching the Hasbulla full send episode, and I was like, all right, I'll click on the merch just to see like whatever
Yeah.
they got. And I'm scrolling, and I see
cowboy hat.
Hasbulla wearing a cowboy, and I was like, Cowboys fan. I'm
You're
getting
like,
that
I
for
need
Felipe.
to, bro.
It just took
unreal.
that shit took like 3 weeks though to come though, which
Really?
sucked. Meant to bring
Probably
it to
high-
Kansas City.
There's probably a lot, like a high demand, a lot of orders, you know?
Yeah, I meant to bring it to Kansas City and I forgot. So I told you when we were in Kansas
Oh
City, I
my
got
God,
you
you
something.
did.
So hey, happy post draft.
Dude, thank you so much. This is the best. I'm the biggest winner from the draft.
You are.
I'm the biggest winner.
He's a Cowboys fan, bro.
Dude, Hasbulla's a Cowboys fan. It's about
Bro,
time.
where did
other
they
people,
find Hasbulla with a cowboy hat?
Maybe you guys start hopping on the wave, right? If Hasbulla can do it, y'all can do it.
Wow, that's
I'm
a sick
rethinking
shirt,
everything,
honestly.
bro.
Don't.
Oh, dig a dog.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, that
dig
shit
a
sounds terrible.
dog. All right. Yo, maybe turn your mic like this a little bit so that the people in the camera can see it. You know what I'm saying? Like up. Yeah, there you go.
Good here?
Hey, you look
That's
great.
fire.
You look great.
Thank you so much, man. Adam, love you so much. Thanks for the gift. I'm the biggest winner from the NFL draft with the best gift. I don't care about going first overall. I could have. They told me I could have, but I really just wanted this shirt. So thank you so much, bro.
All right, well, let's talk NFL draft. Obviously, a lot happened. All of our teams drafted. Jack had the best pick of the draft, kicker in the
Yeah,
third
Jay
round.
Moody, shout out.
Shout out Michigan.
Go blue.
Go
So,
play, Michigan boys.
Yeah, go blue.
But
bro.
let's talk about this. Which teams do you think moved up the most because of the NFL draft? Because of the way they drafted? Who drafted best to the point where
Is
it
it
impacted
possible
their
to
team?
move up when you're already pretty much first?
I was going to say, I would say, you'd say the Eagles have the best draft, but moving up,
They
the
didn't move
Seahawks.
up the most, though.
Ooh,
The Seahawks?
Seahawks are an
I
interesting
really
one.
like the Seahawks. If Witherspoon can become like a kind of like a Tariq Woolen type of player, you have a ridiculous, if not the best corner duo in the league. And then you have JSN coming in. Like they could have a sneaky, really good
They're
offense.
scary.
Like when you have a Geno Smith, he's not going to carry your offense, right? So you got to
Right.
build the pieces around him. And they did that. And then you're building up your defense. You have a really nicey corner duo.
It's
Fuck.
also underrated.
I don't like that.
They added Zach
Yeah.
Charbonnet, the running back from
Yeah.
UCLA. So like,
Dude,
that-
for dynasty
is that
leagues, that's
underrated, though?
terrible.
I think it's underrated because now you have a sick 1-2 punch with
Possibly.
Yeah, but
Charbonnet.
Kenneth
You don't know
Walker,
who
the hell
Kenneth
Charbonnet's
Walker
gonna
is
be.
so talented that I don't think you want to take away from him in year 2.
I agree, but
This
Kenneth,
is the year where you want to fucking grind him.
but I
like-
think with Kenneth Walker, he's an explosive runner. Zach Charbonnet can be a bruiser, so that you could allow Kenneth
that's
to do
true.
the same, to do
Bruiser.
more of what he's best at. When
Classic bruiser.
in terms of teams moving up, the Eagles have the best offense in the NFL. You get from adding DeAndre Swift to a team that did not need DeAndre Swift by any means is
You
absolutely
really think
fucking
DeAndre
absurd.
Swift is that big of
I
an
do.
upgrade over Miles Sanders?
Yeah.
I do.
I do.
DeAndre Swift also, when he's healthy, has been one of the better receiving backs, let alone running backs in the NFL.
true.
He just
Even-
struggles to be healthy.
yeah, I agree.
Even if DeAndre Swift isn't that much better than Miles Sanders, like Miles Sanders had a fucking sick year last year with the
Yeah.
Eagles, and like so you put DeAndre Swift, who's also a guy we know could do it. He's a successful back for the Lions. Like I think
But
he's gonna be
also
good. I think he's gonna be dangerous.
They got him for nothing. They gave up a 4th round
Yeah.
pick for DeAndre Swift. And if DeAndre Swift, because he's an unrestricted free agent this year, if he happens to walk, they get a 4th round pick
It
back
makes
from
that
a
it makes that
compensatory
Jahmyr
pick.
Gibbs pick look a lot better.
It means it doesn't matter. And the fact that you lost pretty much your entire defense and then replenished it with the best defense from college football last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was,
2021.
2021 is
Georgia?
is beyond me. So the Eagles, by far, I think it's hard because everyone's clowning. I feel like GMs probably hate Howie Roseman right now for what he's done, but he put on a masterclass. Shout out to the Jizz. But when it comes to
The jizz? What
yeah,
you
he's
say?
a Jew. Shout out to the Jizz.
I thought you said the jizz.
I thought you said jizz as well.
No,
yeah.
Shout out to the Jews.
The Jizz. The Jizz.
I got it.
Just say Jews.
Yeah, exactly.
No, because if
Don't
you
say jizz.
the jazz.
if you
say Jews.
But if you say Jew feels.
You're Jewish. You can say
The way
it.
Jack said it, bro.
Shout out to
outside
the jizz.
outside of the Eagles,
Jizz.
Shout out to the.
Jews.
There you go.
But the Eagles didn't move up that much
Eagles-
to answer your
yes,
question
to
because
answer your
they're
question.
a Super Bowl team that had
Yeah.
If the team
Super Bowl
that
aspirations.
all right, the team that moved up the most,
Yeah.
the Detroit Lions. They are officially a top 4 team in the
Oh,
NFC.
yeah, I agree.
Top 4?
Top 4 team in the NFC.
Nah, they're not a top 4 team in the
Top
NFC.
4.
In the NFC?
No.
Wow, that's crazy.
Eagles,
Dallas,
Cowboys,
San Fran.
San Fran. Who's
New York?
third? Who's fourth?
Let me think.
Yeah, we got to think, bro. Off the
Detroit
dome.
Lions.
Vikings?
The Detroit Lions.
Giants.
The Vikings, no. Their defense got worse. The
Giants.
Detroit Lions
I
added.
would take the Giants.
like the
over.
way you
I
say
would take the
Detroit.
Seahawks.
Detroit.
I would take the
Detroit.
Seahawks over
Seattle. I'll
Detroit.
take Seattle over Detroit.
Yeah.
The Lions won 8 of their last 10.
That's
The
cool.
Seahawks made the
Seahawks
playoffs.
made the playoffs.
Facts.
And they got better.
And they got better.
Bang, 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 bang.
I love the Lions. Okay, I fucking hate the Seahawks, but dude,
There's a reason there's a reason Vegas has them over Seahawks.
well, because Geno Smith.
Well, no,
Jared
I
Goff?
think
Jared Goff's better than Geno
Jared-
Smith.
Facts.
I don't even know about that,
I
but
don't
I
know.
think when
I-
you
Well,
look
also
at the,
that's the battle of mid.
everyone
Everyone
clowned the Lions for their picks, and we did as well when we did our recap Thursday night. But then you look at it, and Felipe, you made the best point, which is like you take away where they were drafting, you just look at what they added. They added day one starters out of the gate. Jahmyr Gibbs, who's going to be one of the best backs, if not potentially better than Bijan for what he could offer to that offense. Then you had Sam Laporta, who's a tight end. They needed a tight end out of Iowa.
I don't know
that-
why they drafted Sam Laporta over Michael Mayer,
but Iowa, they feed them differently.
sure, yeah, stay in the Midwest.
Jack Campbell, another Iowa man.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
they've added
sure.
3 starters there. Hendon Hooker to sit behind
I
Jared
like
Goff.
that a lot.
I think the Lions have done enough from free agency and what they did in the draft to make me put them as a top 4 team in the NFC.
I'll put him 5. I'll go in the NFC. I think it goes Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks, and then the Lions.
I'm not mad about that.
But it's close. And
Giants.
the Bears too. I don't know. The
I
Bears
was
could
gonna
do a
say the
little
Bears
something.
also.
Yeah.
The
Bears are nice.
What about the AFC?
AFC.
Ugh.
I don't know.
The AFC
know.
what?
For me, I say the Baltimore Ravens made the biggest jump in the AFC. Because on the same day that you re-sign Lamar, you get him helping Zay.
Yeah.
You obviously have OBJ.
Who'd they draft outside of Zay?
Yeah. I have no clue.
I think they added people on defense, but we've
me
always
see.
said, and I said it before we recorded, like, can I jump back on the Baltimore Ravens bandwagon because of a hungry Lamar, which feels like it's a satisfied Lamar, a Lamar that wants to prove what he can do. I'm excited for that team, and so you finally get him help. And you asked when we were recording last week, what's different between the Marquise Brown and the Zay Flowers pick, right? Very similar statures.
They're different types of receivers.
But they're completely different types of receivers. Whereas Marquise Brown's a go ball guy and just going to
Zay
run
can
straight
play
and vertical.
He can be X,
Zay
Y,
can-
Z, Q,
Exactly.
fucking whatever the hell.
Exactly. So I think
Q's my
Zay
favorite
complements
position.
Lamar.
Yeah.
You're going to get a healthy JK back. I think the Baltimore Ravens move up the most in the AFC.
I agree.
Mainly because of Zay.
Mainly because of Zay and just knowing what they're bringing back and getting Lamar back officially.
No, but also not just like getting weapons
mean-
for Lamar at all. I think is the big
I-
game changer.
The biggest team, and they're not going to make the playoffs this year. They could make a wild card. It's the Texans.
Yeah.
The Texans, I mean,
That's
D'Amico
true.
Ryans, having him help develop Will Anderson is going to be fucking huge for them. And if you get CJ Stroud, if you really think that you're drafting 2 overall, you're like, hey, that's our guy. That's who we want. And he pans out. That's a great
If
fucking
CJ
draft. And they
Stroud
moved up
ends
a
up being
ton.
the superstar people are expecting him to be, I agree. I think the Texans
And I think
are going to
CJ
take
Stroud,
a huge
out of
lead.
all the the top rookie quarterbacks, is the most pro ready right now. I think he's a guy that could lead them to 7-8 wins this year, and you could actually see a team like the Texans being in the hunt graphic all year long. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they'll be in the hunt graphic for sure.
Yeah, I think the Texans are close. They had a good draft. That's just the first round. Like, obviously, they gave away, and Adam hates it, but they gave away a first round pick from next year.
I don't hate it. It
to
just
move up
worries me
early.
a bit.
Okay, but it's what worries you.
Right, because you're worried
But
they're going to be a
that,
top 10
that first
again.
round pick essentially is Will Anderson, who's one of the best pass rushing prospects we've seen
Sure.
in a long time.
So if you can guarantee a quarterback this year that you really love, and then you can get one of the top pass rushing prospects that we've seen in recent time, then you had a great first round, and you're still gonna have your second and like other picks next
Who
year.
are their receivers? Like who's Stroud going to be
John
throwing?
Mechie's probably their best.
Nico
one right
Collins.
now.
Oh, they
Nico
have no
Collins
one.
is good.
They don't have anyone.
They're young. They got a group of young
John Mechie has
receivers.
a lot of potential, but he was hurt last year for a little bit.
We were talking about the Eagles for a second. You were talking about how they took like obviously the biggest leap. Are the Eagles the best offense in the NFL now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he said it.
I mean, again,
Did you say that?
I think he did.
I think I said
earlier,
it. Yeah. I mean, I just think if you're like Miles Sanders is worse than DeAndre Swift. I feel
Yeah,
like that's
by
consensus.
far.
Like by far. And Miles Sanders is getting as much money this year with the Panthers as the entire Eagles running back room is with DeAndre Swift. 6.9 mil and 6.4 mil. Yeah. And the fact that the Eagles were able to get a compensatory pick or will get a compensatory pick if DeAndre Swift leaves, it's like you're just renting a better talent for 1 year.
You think DeAndre Swift's going to have the same fantasy value as he had on the Lions?
No, because I think the Eagles were like bottom 10 in passing to their running backs, but he's a better Kenneth Gainwell. So if DeAndre Swift's going to go, in the 4th round of fantasy drafts, I'll take my chances. That offense, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Swift, and an offensive line that's arguably the best is disgusting. And Dallas Goedert, disgusting.
Who do you think are the best fantasy players from this draft and from just this offseason that you think might be worth picking
this
up?
draft?
From the draft, either. Any kind of moves
Well-
or draft picks?
Well, there's a few guys, but Bijan is obvious.
Yeah, Bijan in
Because-
a run-heavy offense. Holy fuck.
Yeah, and he's so great out the backfield as a receiver too. But I think Jahmyr Gibbs' stock went up like crazy because he was drafted.
With that trade,
He was
yeah.
drafted at 12. And the biggest thing for fantasy stock in general, especially for running backs,
draft
is
capital.
where are they drafted?
Yeah.
Because if they're drafted in the 2nd round, it's like cool, they can make their way up into the starting lineup like Dameon Pierce last year. But there's a good likelihood with a lot of these guys, and we've seen it time after time. A running back is drafted late. Think James Robinson, right? I think he was, he might have been undrafted actually 2 years ago. And he popped off for the Jaguars.
He was.
It doesn't matter that he was undrafted. The team,
got
because he
Travis
was
Etienne.
undrafted, they're not going to rely on him in the same way. They don't care about him long term. So then they go get Travis Etienne the next year. That happens year after year, guys like that. So Dameon Pierce is a perfect example, or is a example of someone that could have happened to. I don't think it did. I don't think the Texans drafted another running back. But anyhow, as far as Jahmyr Gibbs goes, I mean, he got drafted so high, so his capital is way up there. They're going to have to use the fuck out of him. And the fact that they traded away DeAndre Swift, I really like him. But I also like JSN in Seattle because Tyler Lockett's 30. He's going to be on his way out in a couple of years.
Just crowded.
And him,
Yeah,
for
it's-
now. But as a long term, I'm a dynasty
Well, it's
guy.
dynasty. He's a dynasty
So
player.
long
yeah.
term, I think JSN is going to be a really good pick.
I'm
if
also,
you can help, hold
weirdly
out.
enough, this guy's already been on a roster. He didn't need to get drafted, but I feel like Rashad White was a huge winner. The Bucs didn't go out and add anyone, right? There's only like a handful of teams that didn't add running back competition. And so I think, you have to look at those guys. So the Rashad Whites of the world, you mentioned Dameon Pierce. I don't think they drafted anyone.
I didn't.
Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other hand, you have a Kenneth Walker in Seattle, and then they go add
That's
Zach
so
Charbonnet.
bad.
Not only did they add Zach Charbonnet, they added Kenny McIntosh, shout out University School, from Georgia.
You had to
as
say
well.
that? You had to add Kenny McIntosh in there?
Why would you draft 2 running backs in the same draft?
But you added Kenny McIntosh.
What
like-
round did they add?
Kenny McIntosh was the starting running back for the
I know
Georgia
who
Bulldogs.
he is.
What round did they draft Kenny McIntosh?
He went 7th.
In the 7th round?
Bro.
He's not going to make the team, brother.
He will make the team.
The seventh
No,
rounders don't
no
make
other
the
team has
a lot of
no other
times.
team has drafted more running backs since like 2014 than the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah,
But it
but
always
you-
works out 'cause they always have a
Kenny
good
They
Mac-
always
running back.
have
I
the
can
track.
guarantee you one thing: Kenny McIntosh is not going
Kenny,
to
you're gonna
take
make the
reps
team,
away.
bro.
He's not going to take reps away
That's
from
not what
Kenneth
I'm.
Walker.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is by adding 2 running backs when you already have a star is something that, from a fantasy perspective, worries you. When you've
Kenny
added 2
McIntosh
running
doesn't worry
backs,
me, but it's Charbonnet, sure.
outside of fantasy, I'm curious who was
University
like the
School.
biggest loser on draft day. What team lost the draft more than anyone?
Not the Niners.
It's a great question. It's not one I've really
No,
thought
the
about that
Niners.
deeply.
Who lost the draft?
Because you think about the teams who have won, those teams, the Lions, they got a lot better. The Seahawks got a lot better. The Cowboys are fucking Super Bowl favorites. But who lost?
Cowboys didn't
Can
have
we
a
go
good
through some
draft.
teams?
What did
They're
they-
acting like the Cowboys had a good
I'm just trying to
draft.
think about like
We
how
had
it
actually
panned out. The
fucking
Cardinals
great draft.
traded that 3rd pick. What did they end up doing? Did they do anything?
Cardinals actually, because they just replenished. The Cardinals are actually in a really good spot. They're going to have 2 top 5 picks next year.
Yeah.
And if Kyler sucks this year, you can go out and get a Caleb Williams and Marvin
You
Harrison
paid
Jr.
him so much money already.
It's all right.
though.
Kyler might be the future quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, so I got to chill. If Tua sucks.
I don't know who lost the draft because I didn't pay attention to rounds.
I'll throw out a
4 through
team.
7.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think the New York Jets didn't have a good draft because I think the biggest issue is the offensive line, and I think they
They
panicked.
drafted one in the second round, I believe.
Correct. They drafted a second, and I think they drafted a center in the second or the third, and they drafted an offensive tackle. But you're relying on younger guys. You had JSN there. You had a Christian Gonzalez. You had other talents there that could just really start on day
They didn't
one.
necessarily need Gonzalez though. I don't think
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is you're in a window right now, whether that's 1 or 2 years. It's likely you're looking at this year. So the New York Jets, by drafting Will McDonald, who is maybe not the most proven and could pan out under a Robert Saleh, I think they should have went a tackle early or a JSN. It feels like you needed to go all in potentially on this year, whereas Will McDonald could be a project and could need some time. So that's why I only say the Jets. For me, as a day one starter, I don't know if that's Will McDonald. I'm also not a scout. I could ask the scout, though. What does the scout say about Will McDonald?
I actually don't even know who the fuck that is. So not a good pick in my opinion. I would have gone with JSN. If I were the Jets.
So for me, the Jets, I'm not going to say they lost it. They are the biggest loser, but they're definitely one of the losers.
Let's be honest. Like the Jets do need a little bit more help at receiver. I don't know why they traded Elijah Moore.
They do.
Yeah. That made no sense to me.
Well, I don't think Moore
What they
wanted to be
get
there
for
based
that
off
anyway.
all the drama that happened last year.
Draft pick, I don't know.
But I understand like the immediate reaction with them drafting Will McDonald over a receiver when they could have like the flashy guy.
But they also don't have an edge rusher. So,
But yeah, I think like as the weekend has like played out, and I've seen some analysis, the Will McDonald pick is actually getting a lot of love. So I'm not an expert or anything like that. So I'm not gonna be out here like, yo, I saw his tape. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, he could be good.
34 sacks in 48 games.
Iowa State, I think. Look,
So,
I think he could be good, but
I'm saying I've seen a
It's
lot of
Iowa
love.
State.
Apparently, he's a dog. He's really fucking good. And one of the positions that make big differences for teams is edge rusher.
of course.
Is getting after the passer. Micah Parsons changed the Cowboys defense.
Micah Parsons was also a top 10 pick.
Yeah, and this guy was a top
He was
15
like a
pick.
consensus
So
one of
what's
the best
the
prospects
difference?
in the draft.
And this guy was a top 15 pick, so it's really not that far off in terms of where they were picked.
So Will McDonald is Michael Parsons.
It's pretty much what I'm hearing.
But what I'm saying is, after all the love, I'm going to trust guys that know a lot more than me to analyze whether this
I'm
pick
not
was
saying I
good or
know
not.
shit. I'm just pure. I mean, my scout just told me he doesn't know who he is, so I don't.
But I do know now that he was teammates with Brock Purdy, which is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Need
see
to
now
think
things are
about that.
changing.
Yeah.
34 sacks in 48 career games, you know what I'm saying?
That's okay.
No, but
It's actually not like insane.
look, and they addressed, they got the center in the second round. They drafted a tackle in the fourth round. So 2 of their first 3 picks were linemen. So they did address the offensive line. Now, I don't know if this fourth round pick is going to be great, but you tend.
So it's offensive lineman. You can find you can find gold like late as hell if you
Yeah.
want. Like,
So I don't know about the Jets having a horrible, horrible draft.
Well, yeah, it's just reliant on the offensive line. Dwayne Brown's 38 years old. He's getting up there. Mekhi Becton's played 1 game in like the last 34.
but he'd be posting a lot of selfies
He'd be posting a
at
lot
the
of
gym.
he looks
though.
good. He looks good.
looks good.
He's a
So I'm
sexy
just saying,
motherfucker.
He slimmed down.
If Mekhi's not healthy, Dwayne's old. You're relying on young guys when you have a Super Bowl window right now of 1 or 2 years. So I say the Jets.
I'm going to go with Washington because the one position.
Oh, dude.
What, you're saying
yeah.
Washington lost the draft?
Washington lost the draft the first night.
The team that lost the draft to me was Washington. Yes.
Who'd they draft in the first round?
Who
Emmanuel
was it?
Forbes. Good corner. A good corner. That's fine. Whatever. But like, you need a quarterback. And I think you're at the
They
time.
didn't draft one, did they?
They didn't draft one. And that doesn't mean you had to draft one in the first round. That was okay, actually, after the first round. They took Emmanuel Forbes. If that's your best
But
player.
dude, if you're not taking a
at that
shot at
position-
Hendon Hooker or any of those dudes later,
well, yeah, you could have tried to get Hendon Hooker or whoever else, like another quarterback that you believe in, or a project that you could even develop in the second round or third round, then you should have done that because Sam Howell is not the answer, and you don't have a guy on your roster that's the answer right now, especially because you traded away Taylor Heineke. So I would have done that. And they didn't pick up, and this was before the draft, but they didn't pick up the option on Chase Young. So I don't know if they're expecting to sign him long-term after next year.
Chase or Montez Sweat might be gone.
Yeah, so I just don't know. They
Chase
drafted
Young
a
to the
couple
Niners confirmed.
edges, but that's late in round 5 and 7, guys that like I've never heard of, frankly. So just on face value, I don't like what Washington did.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. If Sam Howell's the guy, maybe a fucking awesome draft. But
I don't think Ron Rivera lasts because of a move like that.
yeah,
I'm just saying.
Hey, take command though.
Giants have the best draft of all
Take
everyone.
command.
What do you think of the Giants draft?
I mean, according to like every analyst, they say it was the best team. Like the Giants are the best draft.
One of, yeah.
Oh yeah.
A plus.
shout out the analysts.
A plus. Pro Football Focus
turn
gave
to
it an
pick
A
against.
plus.
Oh, shout out PFF.
A plus draft from
at
PFF,
that.
baby. A plus draft from PFF.
Yeah,
Sporting News A.
ESPN A minus.
NFL.com's Chad Roeder A minus. Everyone's saying
fuck?
the Giants drafted the best. They got some
Hey,
weapons.
good shit,
got
man.
a
The
center?
Giants
We got
to
a
the Super
center.
Bowl,
We
bro.
got
John Michael Schmitz.
Schmitz, bro. That's my guy.
John
You see how beefy
Jacob
he is, bro?
Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Yeah. Did you see how beefy he is?
My
dude?
favorite pick that the
Wait,
Giants
wait,
made was
wait.
Jalen Hyatt because let's just
We
support
got a
Danny.
receiver. We got some. We got some defense. Deontay Banks.
Got an
right?
offensive lineman.
We got an offensive lineman. We are
Cody
addressing
Banks.
needs. You know,
Yeah, you got-
addressing needs and just positions we needed to improve on. So I'm very happy with that.
I'm excited for you.
Can we let's do a little activity, shall we?
I like
Let's go
activities.
through every division in the NFL and see, based on just how the draft went, decide which team we think is going to win the division.
Strictly based off of how the draft went.
Yeah,
Can we clarify that?
yeah. So whatever pieces they added through the draft, like how much
can
does that
factor that
affect?
in.
Yeah, factor that in directly, right? How much do those picks affect how they've moved
these are
up,
like-
changed? Maybe it doesn't change how the division's going to pan out. Who
So
knows?
these are like plum picks, as Jack would say, based off of the draft.
Sure, but I mean, like, also it might not be, right? It might just be like, oh, they were going to win the division before, they drafted okay, and they're still going to win the division. That's fine.
Right.
Okay? So we'll go through every NFL division and decide who's going to win the division. All right, let's start with, I guess.
I just had a big scare, boys. Sorry, I thought it was my turn to pick in the my dynasty
Are you
league.
drafting Dynasty right now?
No, it's in 2 hours, but I was tweaking because it said it's your turn, and it showed me that I picked TJ Hawkinson. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? No, in like the fourth, I was like, what the fuck's going on? Just a mock I was doing.
Okay.
Don't worry, boys. I know
I'm
you-
excited for
You
you.
see, look at my face. I was tweaking, bro.
I'm excited
Man,
for you.
We'll go back to the tape. All right, let's start with, I guess, just the
Start with
first.
the NFC East.
Yeah, the first team on my
Dallas
mind.
Cowboys.
Let's
Who
start
won
with
the-
the NFC East. Which team is going to win the NFC East based on this NFL draft?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Commanders.
The New York Giants.
No, the Cowboys. I'll tell you what.
It's going to be the Eagles.
Do you
The
really,
Cowboys are one of-
the Cowboys are going to win after the Eagles draft?
Yeah, the Cowboys had a great draft as well. Yes, the Eagles took flashy players, but
didn't.
tell me why they didn't.
Who the fuck is Mozzie Smith?
Hey,
best-
Michigan legend.
Who the fuck is Mozzie Smith?
I know it's funny because we were joking about it all weekend, but like realistically, Mozzie Smith was the best run-stopping defensive lineman in this draft. He was at the Athletic. Forget the name of the writer that's like big. He does like a bunch of their rankings. He did a rankings of the biggest freaks in college football, just like athletic
God,
freaks. Mozzie Smith was number one. So, and this is you're talking about.
When did he write that?
You're talking
Like 2 years ago?
like
Last
a
year?
week ago. So you're talking about receivers. You're talking about receivers. You're talking about
been a
running
week,
backs.
though.
You're talking about linebackers, defensive linemen, all encompassing. Like when you think about athletes, these guys, Mozzie Smith was number one on his list. And when you think about the Cowboys' number one deficiency last year, it was stopping the run. So you get the best run-stopping defensive tackle in the league, or in the draft, to help to come into your team and help stop the number one deficiency you had. You already have pass rushers everywhere. You have DeMarcus Lawrence, you have Micah Parsons, the best set of pass rushers in the league, and then you have Sam Williams that you drafted last year. All you need to do is get a sure defensive tackle in the middle of your line. And then they draft Marvion Overshown linebacker, which you also need help because Micah's a linebacker who you put on the edge now. So you fill that gap. And then to make matters even better, you lose Dalton Schultz, who was a product of Dak Prescott. See ya. And you bring in another Michigan product, Schumacher. That's my guy.
His first name? That's his first name?
No, that's his last name.
I
looked
think
up-
Schumacher.
I looked up a thing and said that he wasn't like very good at catching passes. As a
Now he's
tight
just
end.
gonna have Dak throwing
That
him
was
the
his
ball.
downfall.
No, but
So-
he's gonna be a product of
he's
Dak,
gonna
so
have-
he'll be exactly
He
mid.
struggled to catch passes his
He'll be
final year in
exactly
Michigan.
Wait, let him finish, let
was
him
what it
So
said.
what the Cowboys did was address athletes. Like they addressed team needs with
Hey, Deuce Vaughn.
Right.
with crazy athletes, right? So Luke Schumacher, again, like 4'6", 40, he's like 250, 6'5". So super
like Adam
athletic.
right
So
now.
they took him over guys that maybe had a little bit more college production. So yes, higher ceiling.
Bro,
but-
Osa and Mozzie Smith about to go crazy.
Yeah, Osa and Mozzie Smith. But anyways, just to wrap it up, I mean, they
that's an
addressed
odious dog
positions
of a
that they
lineup.
needed to address, and they took some of the best talent there was and available in college football.
Okay, so now that he's done,
I think the Cowboys are going to win the division because they were already going to win the division. And now that you address the biggest glaring need on your team, which was defensive line or interior defensive line, Your team's gonna go
So my
crazy.
I'm gonna
analysis-
stitch
There's
that
another
rant with
glaring.
the-
There's another
with
glaring
who's the
team.
most
Well, my
annoying fan
analysis
base in the
isn't
NFL.
that deep.
What is it?
It's quarterback.
Why?
Because Dak Prescott sucks.
No, he does.
Because he had the most picks in the league last year.
So did Josh
So
Allen.
can you tell
but
me
he's
where
not
Dak
top
No, he
Prescott-
had one more than Josh Allen.
Can you tell me where Dak Prescott ranks all time in interception rate?
An interception rate, he's one of the top ones, isn't he?
What about the
He's one of
DVOA?
What have you done for me now? What have
He's
you done
one
for
of
me
the- he's one of the
recently?
top-
What
10.
is his DVOA?
I don't know about DVOA.
It's probably pretty good.
Probably like a
My
probably like a
analysis
5.
isn't going to be that deep. I'm just going to go out on a whim and say,
I'm gonna say
yeah,
the
there
Eagles.
hasn't been a repeat divisional winner since like 04 in the NFC East. So because of that, I might agree with you that
Yeah.
the Eagles won't win. However, the Eagles had a fantastic fucking draft.
They did.
So
They
how
had
am
a
I
great
not
draft.
going to say that the Eagles are going to win?
Yeah, they had a great
The
draft.
Eagles. The Eagles. Are
I don't need
gonna
to go
win.
that much in depth.
I really thought he was about to say the Giants are going to win the division. I
thought
really
he-
thought
yeah,
he was
no.
winding up for that.
Hey, the New York Football
Bro,
Giants.
No, I also think
nasty.
I also think the Eagles will win the division. They obviously improved a ton. They had an amazing draft, and even without, they could have drafted no one, and I still think they were the best team in this division.
No.
I
Before
do.
the draft,
Four.
I had the
But
Cowboys winning the
getting
division.
Jalen Carter is fucking massive.
Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith.
That's insane.
Who else they drafted? Who's the other
essentially-
corner from Georgia? It
Yeah,
is
I
the
don't know his
2021
name.
team.
Yeah, it's Georgia.
Nolan Smith.
And you're gonna have N'Kobe
Jalen
Dean
Carter,
probably started linebacker next year for him.
Jordan Davis, N'Kobe
Yeah,
Dean.
yeah.
They got
And
the
then
corner.
and then they
DeAndre
add-
Swift, who was also a
DeAndre
Bulldog.
Swift, exactly.
He was not on the
So-
2021 team though.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm just saying, I'm less scared of the Cowboys. Well, obviously, the Giants are going to still lose 2 to the Cowboys, but I'm less scared of the Cowboys than I am of the Eagles. The Eagles, I think, are going to be the most
Hey,
dominant
but
team in the
Mozzie,
NFC.
bro.
I also look at all time. Yeah, Mozzie Smith. I also look at all time record. Dak Prescott's 8-3 against the Eagles in his life.
Shout out.
for him,
Fuck
bro.
the Eagles then, huh?
Hell yeah,
Let's
bro.
go Cowboys.
Nah, fuck the Cowboys.
The Eagles did add,
Let's
not to
go
poo-poo the
NFC.
Eagles though. The Eagles have a shit ton of talent. They added so much talent in the draft.
Hey,
so
don't
they had a
poo-poo it.
flashier draft. I'm just saying
how
in
are you
terms
gonna
of
poo-poo the Eagles?
in terms of addressing needs. The Cowboys
Nah,
did
the
it.
Eagles, let's encapsulate this
All
by
right.
saying Cowboys didn't have the sexiest draft. Eagles had a very sexy draft, but the Cowboys did what they needed to do. Eagles also did what they need to do. Gonna be a
Giants
fun
good
division.
draft though. I like Jalen Hyatt.
I
Giants
do.
have the best draft of all time.
Let's move
That
on.
corner, if that
A
corner
plus,
is
A
good,
plus.
Plus
cool.
grade, PFF.
Who's winning the NFC South based off of how the draft went?
I don't care.
The Panthers?
Does anyone
The
care about
Saints?
the NFC South?
Panthers,
They go-
Saints, Bucks. Who am I missing? Panthers, Saints, Bucks.
and the fucking. Why
Why am I missing the NFC South?
Panthers,
Falcons.
Saints, Bucks,
Falcons. The Falcons are winning the
The
NFC
Falcons
South.
won. Based on the draft.
No.
I'm gonna go Panthers.
I mean, you
Nice.
I think the Panthers are so much better than people think.
I think the Falcons are so much
Well, I've
better
been
than people
saying
Smith.
that. I
That's
also
the
think
thing.
too.
I think the Bucks just because they have talent around. I don't
That's
know.
fine. That's who you think's gonna win.
Who's their quarterback?
It's so bad.
Baker
It's such a
Mayfield.
bad.
Baker's their quarterback? Yeah, I hate that.
All right, so
And
I
who's
don't
the
like
Saints
any quarterback
quarterback?
in that
Derek
division.
Carr.
Oh man, interesting. Honestly, a lot of underrated talent in that division.
The NFC South is
NFC
pretty
South's
good.
interesting. It's kind of wide open too.
I think the Falcons' defense is hella underrated though. So it just hinges
Hella.
on
They
Desmond
also
Ridder.
just added a generational talent in Bijan Robinson, so you never know.
That's true.
You never know how that guy's
I
Yeah,
don't
Desmond
know.
Ritter is the
carrying
guy.
the load.
The Bucks.
Facts.
I don't know.
That's facts. I've
I'll
been
go
saying-
Falcons. I don't really know, but I'll go Falcons. Just because
go-
Bijan's a friend of the pod.
I'm gonna go Saints.
I already said Panthers, so I like the Panthers winning it.
All right.
I already had them winning
All
before
right,
the
I'll
draft.
go Bucks. Why not? Let's go Bucks.
A lot of talent around Baker. Maybe you could look
There
decent.
is a lot
Honestly,
of
though,
talent.
honestly, I don't know. I
In
don't
all
know.
seriousness, the Bucks can make some noise.
I was gonna say I don't think
Baker's
Baker's actually not like I don't think Baker doesn't have it. Like I think he still has talent.
I do
He's-
too.
Well, now a team's
Hasn't
gonna
before.
have him for like a
Hopefully-
whole season, so we'll see what
The
happens.
NFC South is underratedly like really good. If you added quarterbacks in that division, it would arguably be the best division in football.
Actually, though, yeah, the
Actually-
talent around the quarterbacks is really good, but the quarterbacks suck.
It would be the NFC West if it had quarterbacks.
What happened to Marcus Mariota? Where's he now?
Yeah, free
Fuck
agent.
if I know.
think. All right. Well, speaking of the NFC West, who's winning the NFC West strictly based off of the draft?
The 49ers still.
Strictly based off the draft, Seattle.
Yeah, but it's just based off the draft. They had the best
That was his
draft.
question.
Now, after the draft,
After analyzing the draft, who's winning the NFC West?
it's the 49ers.
Yeah, they
Well,
still
Jake
have the best
Moody's
team.
gonna
It's
hit some
never
field
Jake
goals, bro.
Moody. Honestly,
Left
kicker
hash, right hash, 20 yards.
bro. You
50
saw
yards.
me watching his highlights for about 10 minutes
I was
straight.
talking to my
He hit a
friend.
59-yarder in the playoffs.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
in college, it's a big deal. College kids don't hit.
Yeah,
hit deep-
that's crazy.
deep
He's got
field
a leg.
goals.
He's got a
Yeah, he's
hose
got
on
a
him.
fucking
Somehow
horse
those-
leg.
A hose on him.
Somehow, also he was the only kicker drafted.
No, well, honestly, the Niners
No,
draft
he
was
wasn't.
fucking terrible.
was it?
but they're still the
Jets
49ers.
drafted. I'm pretty sure a kicker as well.
classic.
Oh, you
Jets.
know what the Niners want to do
call
now
that a
after the
TJ,
draft
total Jets
is
move.
they want to add a fourth quarterback.
Nice.
Really
Nice.
smart.
The Jets.
Yeah, that's what exactly what
But,
they need.
but they'll still
right.
win the division.
All
They
right, the
definitely
49ers
will.
are winning the division. What are we doing?
Who
here?
else is in this
cold,
division?
The Seahawks, I think, is going to contend though.
yeah,
Don't
they'll-
sleep on
it'll-
the Seahawks.
But
Who else
I
is in this
just
division am I missing?
Seahawks, Cardinals, Rams,
Yeah.
49ers.
The Rams and Cardinals they're not.
The Rams
they're
start
not
Stetson
even close.
Bennett. No.
Honestly,
but I really like that
Stafford,
landing spot
Georgia
for him.
kids, Georgia boys.
Bro, but I'm saying like the landing
Yeah.
spot for Stetson Bennett could not have been more perfect with the Rams, so he can develop for a couple years under McVay and Matt Stafford, and then he can come in and they might give him a
Stetson
chance.
Bennett and loves him because
They're both Georgia boys.
Can the Seahawks actually contend though with the Niners in that division?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
They have a quarterback. First of all, the Niners don't.
You really think Geno Smith is actually like after 1 year?
Geno Smith is a
playing
top 10 quarterback.
No,
How? How can you say he's not after what he did last
But
year?
you put Jared Goff in there.
I just don't.
I think Goff's better. Yeah,
That's
But Jared
ridiculous.
Goff had a
just
good
think
year as
that,
well.
Like, I think that the people in the league believe in Geno and always have, and that's why he's always been a starter. Like, not always. He was obviously
been in the
backup.
league.
He's always been like a consistent guy around the league. Like, he's always been
Yeah,
around,
he's
and
bounced
like
around, yeah.
people hear about him. Most backups you don't hear about, and like Geno was always in and out of lineups, and then he got this starting opportunity, and like I just think like guys believe in him. And,
Well, I don't think
and they
Geno's-
think that he's actually good enough to be a starter.
Geno's probably
and then
not
he had a great year.
Geno's probably not a top 10 quarterback only because people look at body of work, and if we go through the top 10, there are a lot of quarterbacks. When we were going through the AFC, when I was making my rankings, even like
I would have taken every one of those AFC guys over Geno Smith.
But the only reason Geno's probably not a top 10 quarterback is because of there's a lot more quarterbacks in that top 10. It's not a knock on him.
Like
the Kirk Cousins of the
I'm
world,
just
the Derek
saying,
Carrs,
if Geno
like,
Smith isn't
I'd
top
take
10
Kirk,
right
I'd take
now,
Derek Carr, I'd take Jalen Hurts over him, and
if
then
he
the
wasn't
rest
on
of
the
that top 10
Seahawks, would
list.
you say that though?
Probably still, yeah. Dude, Geno Smith had one good year.
I'm not taking Derek Carr over Geno Smith.
Really?
Yeah, Geno just outperformed him.
Bro, okay.
I think the Seahawks
And Geno,
contend in the
and
NFC.
to answer your question, not only do the Seahawks have a quarterback and Geno and the Niners don't have an answer at quarterback. They have no idea
do
what
we
they're
not?
doing. What's the answer?
They're going to start Brock Purdy. They've said
Is he the answer?
I think so.
All right, cool. Then let's
If
get
we're
rid of
basing off of
then
last
get
year,
rid
then
of
Brock
Trey-
Purdy was
then get
better
rid
than
of
Sam
Trey Lance and
Darnold,
all them guys.
Sam Darnold.
But
Those are
the
fine.
Seahawks have a shitload of talent: receiver, running back.
They have
offensive
sexy talent, but they don't have talent everywhere else.
They literally do.
Offensive line is not that great. Their
gotten so
defense
much
has
better.
Tariq
It's what
Woolen,
made-
and that is fucking it.
The offensive line is what made Geno better than what Russ has
agree.
been in the past.
They
They have
drafted-
Kenneth Walker, I think the best young running back in the league. They have the great receiving duo. They just added to that receiving trio now with JSN.
You have a corner
and then
opposite of
defensively, they
Tariq
just
Woolen.
added a corner opposite of Tariq
They
Woolen.
added an edge, didn't they? I think they added an
Yeah,
edge.
they-
They added a linebacker or something. I'm not saying
They're a complete team.
they're a team that's gonna. It's the same way. Look, you put the Seahawks.
It's
There's a reason you
close.
put the Seahawks over the Lions in the NFC. The Seahawks are a team that can contend and surprise people. That's
I
what I'm
could
saying.
also
the
see them
Niners have
going
higher
4 and
level
13
talent
this year.
though on
I-
the offensive side. At
I
least.
cannot see the Seahawks going 4-13.
I could see them because I could see Geno shit in the bed.
You won't though.
and
you think the
and
Texans-
regressing back to the
He
mean.
won't. Pete Carroll's not gonna let that happen.
You just said you could see the Texans winning 7-8 games, but
Yeah.
you could see the Seahawks winning 4.
Facts.
The Seahawks are a far better roster,
Facts.
top to bottom.
Yeah, sure.
Facts.
But it all depends on how Geno Smith plays, I think.
And it all depends on how CJ Stroud's going to
So
play.
you're just praying on Geno's downfall.
100%.
But if
I'm
we
a
really
Niners
49er
fan,
fan.
of course.
Of course
I'm
I'm praying
praying
on
on
his
Dak
downfall.
Prescott and Jalen
You're
Hurts'
praying on
downfall.
Jalen Hurts' downfall. You're
praying
praying
on Aaron
on
Rodgers'
Daniel
downfall.
Jones' downfall.
I actually don't
Like,
pray on Jalen Hurts. I actually love Jalen Hurts. Shout out Texas.
Same, I also-
But
it's a shame.
I
It's a
think,
shame I like him
think
so
the
much.
Niners and Seahawks is very similar to like Eagles, Cowboys. What you got going on in those divisions? Now, obviously, Cowboys, Eagles, way more talent
Yeah, I don't know.
than both of those teams
Yeah,
on the
one
West.
is clearly
But
better. The Eagles are clearly better.
I don't
And
agree
both
with
of those
that.
teams?
I don't agree with that.
I think
Do you
so.
think the Cowboys have more talent than the Niners?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the Niners' offensive talent is so
It's close.
is so
Defensive
much
talent's crazy
You guys both have a lot of talent.
Yeah, I agree.
The problem is you lost some pieces on the defensive side of the ball, but
All
the
right.
Niners and Cowboys both have a shit ton of
Let's
talent.
move to the AFC. What
What? We have another division.
do we?
West, South, East,
Oh,
North.
sorry.
the North.
My fault.
Lions.
Who's winning the NFC North
Yeah,
after
Lions.
the draft?
Lions.
Lions. Bears, though, can make some noise.
Bears.
Yo,
Good.
shout out the NFC North though for finally having the Packers out of the way. You know,
yeah.
I'm proud.
The
I'm happy for
No,
them.
but see, we said that though, and Brett Favre left the Packers, and then Aaron Rodgers came in and was fucking
Yeah, but Jordan Love
nasty.
ain't going to be that.
We don't know that.
You're right, we
but I
don't. But I'm
guarantee
gonna
you,
go on-
might
I'm gonna go on a
be.
limb.
I
I'm gonna go on a limb.
guarantee you, everyone was like, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be that. And then
There's a
he's
reason
better.
he fell so far in the draft. Like, well, he was
Yeah.
supposed to go first in 25th.
It's a great point.
Yeah, but Jordan Love was never
Packers
supposed to
are a
go
winning
to-
franchise.
in the
Bro,
first.
I'm just saying.
No,
Jordan Love
actually,
very
you're
well
right.
could come
Romeo
out there.
Doubs
Like,
can
I
go
would
crazy.
be not shocked at all if Jordan Love came out there and fucking ball just because the Packers are the most spoiled fan base
they have
ever in the
Romeo
league.
Dobbs.
It would be
Yes,
super.
because Romeo Dobbs.
It would be very Chicago Bears. They're all the Bears
Yeah.
fans right now are celebrating Aaron Rodgers leaving, and
then Jordan Love
Oh, it's like
comes
this
in
is our year. Justin
sick.
Fields, year 3, he's going to take his leap, and then Jordan Love comes in.
And
Wins the
Jordan
division.
Love, after learning under
Super
Rodgers for
Bearsy.
years,
It would kind of be pretty.
comes in
funny.
and just pulls a
And
Patrick
honestly, we
Mahomes,
talk
balls
about that all the
fuck
time,
out.
bro. We always talk about teams drafting a quarterback to like place behind a stud.
I'm
Or
down.
like an older
You convinced
guy.
me.
Yeah, but the
To
Lions will
develop
still
them,
win.
and so
I'm so
it might
happy for
happen.
the Lions. I'm excited for them.
They're
I'm
gonna be
not as
fun.
I
excited
still think
based
it'll be
off
the
of
Lions.
seeing how Brad Holmes, the GM, reacted to drafting Jameer Gibbs. Just be a little bit
Nah, it
more
was
even
cute.
keeled. But outside of that, I'm
was so
excited for
excited.
them.
I mean, that was their guy. Probably that was probably number 1 on the board for them for this
It was.
draft. So they got
said
him.
they would take him over Bijan at 6. That's
Yeah,
why they drafted
that was
him.
their dude.
They traded
That's
back.
crazy.
Good for them.
They liked him. I don't know.
They added a lot of talent. Like we
They
talked
added a
about
lot of
earlier, if you strip away the number in which they drafted those guys, like 12 for Jameer and whatever for all the other guys, then you actually, all you see is a bunch of guys that can start day one. Everybody gets caught up in the value, the running back, the value of a running back or a
Nobody knows
linebacker.
shit.
Who cares? These guys can go in day one and perform.
Nobody knows shit, all right? Mel Kiper said Jimmy Clausen, if he's not a day one starter, he's going to quit or something. And Jimmy Clausen, how did that work out? So nobody knows shit about
He was a
shit.
dog.
He was
right.
good in college.
College.
We do have to keep moving. So can we move to the AFC?
And high school.
Because this is taking a while.
Is it?
Yeah. AFC. What team is going to win the AFC East based on the NFL draft?
Based on the draft,
The Miami Porpoises.
The Miami Mammals. The Miami
Yeah.
Mammals. The Miami Dolphins. Want to know why?
The Whales.
Because they were going to win it even before the draft. You add another corner in Cam Smith. Can't ever have too many corners because by week 7, someone's going to get hurt. And that division's loaded with talent. So
Yeah.
Miami Mammals.
I'll take the Bills. Just cause.
Original.
Go blue and red, baby.
Yep. Bills. Dalton Kincaid.
I mean, it was nice. But hey, they just got a Latavius Murray, so good for them.
Well, yeah, it's
Ew.
good pickup.
Say it.
Damian Harris.
No,
good
hold
pickup.
on. We got to say it. Say it.
well,
Yeah.
I think
I know where he's going.
I don't think the Jets had. I think they addressed what they needed to do, but they also didn't have the flashiest draft. I also don't think the Dolphins had the flashiest draft. So because
when
I
you
had
don't have a first, when you have 4 picks in the draft, it's hard to be flashy.
exactly.
point.
So I mean, the question is, including the draft and putting the draft into consideration, which team is going to win the division? So if I already had the Jets, I'm going to go Jets. But there's not that much analysis to it. I already had them. Neither team really popped in the draft. I think the Jets had a better draft than the Dolphins probably. They added a game-breaking edge rusher.
Game breaking.
Game-breaking edge
Game
rusher.
breaking.
According to the
McDonald
analyst-
had a
Dude,
What
what?
did I say?
E-I-E-I-O.
Why is he not a game-breaking edge rusher?
Because he had 34 sacks
why
in
is he?
in 4 years.
Because I'm going off analysis of other people. Why is he not?
34 sacks in 48 games is not good.
It's actually really good. If it was like
Why
one of
is
some
he
of the best
not?
stats. I'm just saying, like, well, we have such a tendency, and by we mainly Jet.
And Adam?
You have such a tendency to just hate on players. Like, you don't know what they can do. So, like, first, I defer to what analysts talk about these players. And if they say that this guy is good, then I'm going to go off of what they say.
Let me ask you a
I
question.
don't know. I'm
Within
not
the
breaking down their
within
play.
It's an analyst's job to talk about the pros and not the cons most of the time when you're
That's
on
not true
air.
because I've
When
seen
you're on air,
C minuses on many draft
Oh, of
boards.
course. But when you're on air, someone's always going to talk about the positives. Why that was a good pick. Oh, this fills a need. If he could jump up and
you are
tap
Mr.
into.
Listen to analysis guy. What
I'm
are
not
you talking about?
I'm not disagreeing, but I don't know enough about Will
Felipe-
McDonald.
It's like that. He
It's
brought
just
up
saying-
the Giants have an A
Bro,
plus
but, like,
because
none
of
of us
their
know enough
players.
about Will
He's read
McDonald.
up on the
That's my
fucking
point.
draft.
Like-
he's read up on the draft analysis. He's just pulling from shit that he's read on. Like he's
I
not
agree.
just saying.
And
that-
I'm
not
acknowledging
shitting-
that I don't know about
I'm
this
not
guy's
shitting-
college production
I'm not
personally
necessarily
because I didn't
shitting on
watch
him.
him.
I'm saying the same thing happened with like people that they picked on the Dolphins. I'm just saying when you're on air, your job is to not necessarily shit on the
Felipe's
pick,
not even
but
shitting on
flip
the
it into
Dolphins.
it. No,
He's
I'm not
just
saying that.
saying
I'm
that
saying
the
with Will
Jets are gonna be
McDonald,
good.
it felt like the biggest need for the Jets coming into this year was either add some more wide receiver help or build the offensive line. The trenches are the number one thing. They didn't do that in the first. Yes, they got the second, the third, but you're relying on these guys to perform if someone gets hurt. And their wide receivers are Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Mecole Hardman, and Corey Davis. Not the sexiest thing in the world. So all I'm saying is
It's really not that great.
I think their day
I'm
two
taking the
lineman.
Dolphins.
I think their day two center that they drafted is expected to start day one.
because they don't have a center. So that's
Well,
what makes
there
sense.
you go. That's a very high draft pick, a very high draft capital that you're putting on in the center.
I get it.
So, anyways, the whole point is that this guy is supposed to be this guy is supposed to be really good, and I think that's going to help out the Jets.
We already made a bet. It's all good. Yeah, Dolphins in 5.
Yo, y'all get so upset when anyone takes anything other than your team. Bro.
I can't just give a
Both
take,
of
bro.
y'all, like Felipe just said it was a different team, and then you were like, no, that guy sucks. Fuck that guy.
Well, if the Jets drafted JSN, I would have said that they would win.
I probably would have too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did not. I'm going to take the Patriots. Fuck you all.
Nice. Well, they got Lamar. They got Lamar.
Yeah, they did.
Who's winning the AFC South after the draft? Colts, Texans.
It was always the Jags. It was
Colts,
never
Texans,
not the Jags.
Yeah,
Titans.
I have no idea what the Jags did in the draft, and I still think they're going to
They
win.
didn't have that great of a draft.
Yeah.
It would be kind of sick, though, if Anthony Richardson actually pans out for the Colts.
He ain't going to pan out year 1.
No, that's
Good, though.
He might.
I don't think the Colts have an aging offensive line.
I'm excited to watch him and Jonathan Taylor together.
It wouldn't shock me though if the Colts happened to be like a really, really good team because last year they were supposed to be that team and Matt Ryan was absolutely god awful, dog water.
So Richardson could do the same.
Shane Steichen,
Yeah, Saturday's out.
offensive coordinator from the Philadelphia Eagles.
Nice.
So he worked with Jalen Hurts.
Hey, pretty good.
That actually sounds.
So we're all taking the Jags.
I'm taking the Jags. They're just so much better.
But I think the Colts. It wouldn't shock me if the Colts contend in.
Is this Trevor year 3? Is Trevor year 3?
I also love Anthony Richardson on the Colts.
Same.
And he has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback in this league if he fixes the gaps in his game, right? Which is accuracy and decision making.
That's like the 2 biggest things for quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
Bro.
100%.
But there's a statement still, is this still not true? So if he fixes those
My
things,
aunt had balls.
She'd be my uncle.
right. And if he fixes those things, he's top 5. If he doesn't, his rushing ability, as well as just his overall athletic ability, when he has a Jonathan Taylor and has some receivers that has, when they're fully healthy, an offensive line that can actually block, I like what Anthony Richardson
What about
can
his
do.
13-year-old brother that has a deeper voice than all of us?
And a neck tat?
And a
Kind
neck
of crazy.
Yeah, good for him, bro.
So go Colts. They're winning the division.
Yeah, good for him.
What's the other divisions? We have the West.
The AFC West. Who's winning the AFC West after the draft?
Who do you think?
The AFC West?
Let's say it on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Chiefs.
The Chiefs. Should we move on?
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs, yeah. Who did they draft even?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
They're just the best
They
team.
drafted
by a
a
lot.
DN from K-State local
but-
kid.
The Chiefs actually were trying to trade up ahead of Dallas to take Mozzie Smith. Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Dude, because
that was really fun.
that guy's an O-digga dog.
Yeah. He's different.
I want to raise this point, and I said it when we were in Kansas City, but it is true that every Kansas City Chiefs fan is a variation of Andy Reid.
Yeah, they're all variants, bro.
all variants.
It was so good, bro.
Whether fat, skinny,
yeah, mustache, no mustache, beard maybe.
There's something there.
There's something there.
Yeah.
So that's the Chiefs. Not only are the Chiefs winning the division, but the fans
Facts.
are winning the division
Hey,
as well.
they drafted first round Kansas State edge Felix
Felix Jones.
Anadike
Odigido.
Uzama.
Nice.
Shout out to
Sounds like a
CJ
dog.
Uzama.
He's black, actually. At first, I looked him up to see if he was related to CJ, but he's black. So
Nice.
CJ's black.
CJ's black too.
is he? I thought he was white.
He's black.
Oh, this guy's like
Friend of the
midnight,
pod,
so.
though. We did AFC South. We did AFC West. We did
North.
AFC East.
North.
The division that matters.
The
winning
best division
AFC
in football.
Who's winning the AFC North after the draft?
NFC North? Oh, the AFC North.
Did I say NFC North?
Nah, AFC. You're right.
AFC
You're right.
North.
I'm gonna go Ravens.
I had a feeling you would do that.
I actually might.
But I've been saying that.
You have.
Lamar's better than Burrow, and they have more talent.
Can you rewind again?
Yeah, say it again.
Did you say Lamar?
Jackson is better than Joe Burrow.
What the
and,
fuck?
And the Ravens have more talent than. Sorry. The Bengals are more complete as a team, but I think what the Ravens
Joe Burrow is
added-
better than Lamar.
No, he's
Hold
not.
on.
But what the Ravens added have made them a lot better than what they were, 2 months ago?
Can I reel you back in quickly?
Yeah.
Why is Lamar Jackson better than Joe Burrow?
Because he's so dynamic, bro. He can
No,
run.
hold on. I just want to know.
Well, for one, he's an MVP. Has Burrow been a top 2 MVP candidate? No.
Boom.
Has Lamar been to a Super Bowl? Has he been to an AFC Championship game?
No, but he's been in the playoffs and he's won games in the
Jack's
playoffs.
consistent, bro. It's about winning.
Yep.
He's
Wait,
consistent.
I want to know. Why is Lamar better than
Felipe's
Joe
also
Burrow?
consistent.
What else-
Thing.
I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just like, I want to know
What?
why is Lamar better than Joe Burrow?
Oh, I mean, he's more like, for one, I care if the team around me is in shambles, I want Lamar Jackson and not Joe Burrow. We have not seen Joe Burrow outside of a perfect. We have actually his rookie year, and he got hurt and he fucking couldn't play. So there you go. When Joe Burrow doesn't have an offensive line that can actually protect him, he falls down and breaks.
Doesn't Lamar get hurt a lot?
Lamar Jackson's MVP. Now,
Doesn't he get hurt a lot?
Joe Burrow
But you're
has-
knocking.
Joe Burrow
Joe
has
Burrow's offensive line hasn't
now-
really protected him since. Though.
Yeah, he's had a shit offense line, but continue.
Yeah, like it's always been
the
bad.
best receiving core. Lamar Jackson, we've acknowledged, has not had much talent
I
to
agree,
throw
I
to
agree.
outside of Mark Andrews. So why I say Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have gotten so much better from where they were is because they added OBJ and they added Zay Flowers. If you can get OBJ at 70% and you get Zay Flowers at what he's supposed to be, now you pair that with Rashad Bateman, who's healthy. You get J.K. Dobbins, who was the best running back in the last
Shout
four.
out Dynasty.
Shout out Dynasty. Dobbins, who was the best running back since he came back from injury last year, averaged the most yards per carry for a running back. Then you have an offense that can actually compete, especially around a former MVP winner in Lamar Jackson. The Bengals, you can't say that about. They do have a lot of talent, absolutely, and they have more talent overall than the Ravens do. But guess what? When you have two talented teams, I'm going to go with quarterback. Which team has the better quarterback?
The
Lamar
Cincinnati
Jackson.
Bengals.
Which team has the MVP? The Ravens, Lamar Jackson.
How many years ago was that MVP?
Like, what,
4 or 5 years ago?
In some alternate reality, I'm going to agree with you. Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback than Joe Burrow, but that alternate reality is the
not our
reality where he
reality.
has
And
Jamar
who-
Chase
And who gets paid more?
Well, it's
Well,
hard to do.
that's
It's
what
hard
I'm
to-
about to get
Lamar
paid
gets
as
paid
much.
more because Joe's still on a rookie contract, and why would you pay him right now?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not mad
Same
about it.
thing.
I'm not
on a
mad
rookie deal.
about you
Gets paid
saying
more.
that. I think a lot of people are going to get mad about saying
They're
Lamar's better
really
than
mad
Joe.
because it's wrong.
Sure,
Or
but
they're
it's,
racist.
but it's rooted in recency, the what have you done for me lately, which I totally understand. Lamar hasn't had anything
I'm not
lately.
low on Lamar. I just think that's crazy. to
I
think
guarantee
he's
you, if
better.
Lamar Jackson was white, he'd be the second best quarterback in football consensus.
Bro, that is not what
I
it
guarantee
is. That is
I
not what
guarantee
it
you.
is.
And clip that because people are either going to agree
So
with that
now
or
I can't
disagree
even
with
talk
that.
about Joe Burrow without being racist.
I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying a lot of folks in this country hate Lamar Jackson the same reason they hated Cam Newton, the same reason they hate Jalen Hurts because of his skin color. It's a fact. Lamar
agree.
Jackson, if he was white, he'd be the second best quarterback in the league. He'd be better than Josh Allen. People would acknowledge that. It's a fact.
It's fact. You're spitting, bro.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
The same reason Cooper Kupp's not a top 5 wide receiver.
Yeah, also.
I look-
Christian McCaffrey's not
again,
looked at as the best.
just to be different, I'm probably going to say the Ravens win the division. I've knocked the Ravens all year. They haven't added talent. You finally get talent. Defense has always overperformed. I'm actually really excited to see Lamar in a pass-heavy offense. I think Lamar's a very underrated passer. I think he's one of the better ones in the NFL, but we just haven't been able to see him with talent that can support his passing ability. Now you have him as a rusher as well. I think they're super dynamic. I like Todd Monken. Give me the Ravens in the AFC North.
Ooh.
I think the Ravens receiving core is a bit overrated, to be honest. Right
Sure.
now, people are overrating it. I don't think Odell has really anything left in the tank personally. Fuck do I know, though? I mean, he might still.
But
I don't think Zay
might.
Flowers
I-
is still
no
going to
one
be a
knows.
rookie receiver at
No,
the
I
end of
agree,
the
but
day. I
Bateman
love
as well.
Zay.
There's pieces there.
Yeah, there's pieces. But
still
you
take
also
the
have to
Bengals.
bank on Lamar being healthy for the whole year. And I don't know if that's going to be a thing because as
Yeah.
of late, he's been getting hurt. But they also have Pro Bowl backup.
But that
Tyler
could
Huntley.
happen. But that could
So-
happen anywhere. He got hurt inside the pocket. Like that wasn't a byproduct of
Yeah,
Lamar's.
I'm not
like,
saying that. I'm
weaknesses.
just saying like
Or
he
strengths.
gets hurt. Like
Sure.
there's
I
people
still
that are
think
more
the
injury
Bengals are
prone.
the better
I think the
team.
Bengals
They
are
are
a
the better
far
team.
better team. They
They
have
are
the
the better
better
team.
quarterback. They have better weapons. They have just as good of a defense.
Sure.
I'm taking the
Better
Bengals.
quarterback aside, it doesn't matter who you'd prefer. It's like Joe Burrow is still a top 5 quarterback.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson is still a top 5
Yes.
quarterback.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Bengals
yeah,
have
yeah.
a better team
Yeah,
than
agreed.
the Ravens,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
agreed.
therefore they're going to win. Like they're going to be the better team.
Sure. Who's got the better coach?
I mean, the Bengals have.
I mean, the Ravens have a Super Bowl
coming
winning
off
head coach.
back-to-back, like very successful seasons.
Well,
Zach Taylor is not John
Zach Taylor's a
Harbaugh.
byproduct of that team. John
Possibly.
Harbaugh. Let's
Okay,
not.
I don't know
let's-
about that.
What do you mean? He's had a.
A
I'm not trying to take
a lot
away
of
from
their
him.
success falls onto coaching.
Of course,
too,
I'm not
but-
taking away from him, but I also think the DC, the Lou Amaruno has. I give more credit to him
He's
than
great.
Zach Taylor. There's
Yeah,
a
he's
reason
great.
Bengals fans wanted Zach Taylor out first 4 games of the year.
Look,
John Harbaugh's a Super Bowl winning coach. Let's put
The
some
Bengals
respect
should be
on his
clear
name.
favorites of this division,
For
no
sure,
doubt. And
for
I
sure.
think they're, like I said, they're a better team. I think that the Ravens, if they get all the gears turned in the right way, could potentially win the division.
I agree.
If I were to put money on it, I'd put it on the Bengals because it's the most likely thing to happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the Ravens can win though.
Unless there's good money and value in the Ravens.
Nah, Kenny Pickett's going to steal the division. All right. Can we?
No one's saying the Browns.
No one said the
Oh,
Browns.
Nah, you don't think the Browns are gonna win though?
Oh no.
Oh, I thought you might with your Deshaun.
Oh,
Although,
I don't say the
they
Browns
can
are going
make
to win
the
the
playoffs.
division, but if you get Deshaun 2020 back
On the field.
on the field, sure, yeah, I think the Browns can win the division. I think, but again, it's who's going to win the division. I think the Browns could win the division. It's just we need Deshaun to come back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be
feel-
shocked that the fucking Steelers did just because
I'd be
Mike
pretty
Tomlin.
shocked.
We gotta wrap up soon. But last thing before we finish up, Obviously, offseason sort of coming to an end. Not quite yet. We got a little more time, but just each of our team. What was your team's most your team move in this offseason?
Dude, I had the most
one thing that your team did that was just so classic. That
I had the most my team thing happen in the whole fucking league. When the 49ers signed Sam Darnold, that was the most 49ers.
It was very much
Kyle Shanahan bullshit I've ever seen in my fucking life. Because why do we need 3 quarterbacks?
Well, because your third quarterback finally had to come in the playoffs, and that didn't work out too
No,
well.
our fourth did. Josh Johnson did.
So you need 4, if anything.
But why do we need 3 guys that you could legitimately say all 3 of them could start in the league? You don't need Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, and Sam Darnold. That's
how much did they pay Sam Darnold?
Probably like $2 million. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not cap guy.
Yeah, but chestnut checkers.
It
But
was a
that
very
shit-
49ers move, though.
But that was just like, what the fuck are we doing? And I just don't understand that.
Hey, if you would have had Darnold in that playoff game,
I was about to say,
Actually-
like, I mean,
Well, no, but the thing is,
they're kind of building
he
a
would have been
safety
the
net
fourth
for
string
themselves.
yeah, I know, which he would never would
like,
do.
They're
we
building a
still-
safety net for themselves, though, because they're coming off a season where all of their quarterbacks got
well,
hurt.
all of our quarterbacks always, all the time, get fucking hurt.
So there you go.
Hey, but at
So
some
it makes
point it's gonna
sense, but
pan
it's-
out.
So you're learning from your
But
mistakes.
it's so tiring. Just like,
Some
You don't
point it's
need
going to
it.
pan out. What about you,
Fucking A.
Lipe? What was the most Cowboys move of the offseason?
I spent some time thinking about that ever since we brought it up this morning. I think the Cowboys had a very anti-Cowboys offseason, which
I
is
would actually agree.
they usually don't go after free agents at all. They say, like, oh, we're going to develop our own guys, all this type of stuff, go in the draft. And they went out and they got Stephon Gilmore. They went out and they got Brandon Cooks. And those 2 guys allowed them to go
huge.
kind of like free in the draft and just address what they really needed, which was defensive tackle. I would say probably the most Cowboys thing they did was draft, I don't know, dude, Deuce Vaughn. I don't know.
Deuce Vaughn's good.
That was a nice
Yeah,
story,
but they
though.
drafted him because of the son of the coach,
I don't
because
think
the
so.
scout, the
Okay,
scout.
he's
on
also
him.
talented. He's got
super
game.
talented.
No, he's nice. But
Good backup.
I would say the Cowboys every offseason set themselves up to fail. And this year they didn't. So I would say they didn't have a really good
Do you have
really
more
Cowboys
hope this year
offseason.
than you've ever had?
You
I
had
would.
so much hope last year, though, bro.
The Cowboys,
Nah.
not heading into the season, to be clear. But I did have hope when we started turning it on.
Do you have more hope
Heading into
right
the
now?
season, this is the most hope I've had for a Cowboys team in a while, and that's dangerous because every time I say we're going to win the Super Bowl, we our quarterback is hurt in the first game, and we win like 3 games.
So are you guys winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, no doubt.
Adam, Dolphins?
The most Dolphins move of the offseason was let's go out and trade for Jalen Ramsey. And then the draft comes around. We have
First
some
pick
needs.
of the draft.
Well, we didn't have a first pick.
I'm saying your first pick
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
first
draft.
pick in the draft. We need some, we could use another offensive lineman. We could use a tight end because we have Durham.
A lot of tight
Smythe.
ends on the board.
A lot of tight ends on the board. Well, there was a run early. There was a
Yeah.
run, Sam Laporta, Michael Mayer.
But you could have got your Darnell Washington.
Yeah, but injury concerns.
Injury concerns.
So you know what? What's the Dolphins' move? Let's go get another corner. Hey, Cam Smith next to Jalen Ramsey, next to Xavier Howard, next to Nick Needham, next to Cater Kohu. Like,
So I saw a tweet. It was like,
Are you making up names?
no, those
what
are
was
real
the- What was
names.
the guy's name you guys drafted?
Cam Smith.
They're like, Cam Smith is the perfect cornerback 3 for the Dolphins. I'm like, were they looking for cornerback 3?
But again,
Like,
we're probably going to talk about this tomorrow on the pod. It's like, do you draft best available or do you draft for needs? The Dolphins didn't need a corner, but what they're looking at is the future in X getting older. Put him next to Jalen Ramsey. And in an AFC East where you're going up against teams that have quarterbacks of the Patrick Mahomes, the Joe Burrows, the Josh Allens, you need to be able to have corners that can stay healthy. So a position of need always, no matter how many corners you have, is corner. So it was the most Dolphins move ever to add another corner, but I've come to my senses and I like it.
Nice.
yeah, I love Sam Darnold too, bro. I've really come to my senses. He
Hey,
could be a dog.
what was the most Giants move this offseason?
There were 2. So the first one was signing Daniel Jones for $42 million a year or whatever it was.
It's not your money, though.
That doesn't.
But it was very
it's
Giants.
Hey,
like
but the
teams-
cap hit this year, very team friendly.
They arranged the cap whatever nicely.
Or no,
as
down
like,
the line,
Down the
team
line.
friendly.
whatever. But my point is like we don't yet know if Daniel Jones is actually the guy, and we paid him like a lot more than I think he needed.
But you got him tight end help with Darren Waller. You got
So
him
that
receiver
was
help
going
with
to be
Jalen
my
Hyatt.
that was going to be my second thing. Is that the fact that we signed a tight end, a really good tight end? I'm very thankful for it, and I'm not saying this was a
Top
bad move
3 to 5
over
tight
a
end,
really
yeah.
good wide receiver. I think the Giants needed to get a good, like a top 10 wide receiver for Daniel Jones, and they didn't do that. They got a top 5 tight end
Who can't stay healthy?
who can't stay
I
healthy
didn't
and is
think
aging.
about it that way. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it was like very Giantsy to like not get, I think, the piece exactly that they needed. Who knows if Jalen Hyatt is going to pan out? That would be awesome. Sterling Shepard will be back. That's good. Darius Slayton will be back. That's good.
Isaiah Hodgins.
I joke about Isaiah Hodgins, but like he's not one of our top 3 guys. You know,
I still don't understand why they haven't gone out and gotten D-Hop or something. What is no one trading for D-Hop?
I don't understand.
It must be some
whatever.
something people don't know.
I think they're the most Giantsy moves ever, but I don't think
agree.
they're bad moves.
I would agree.
Hey, all our teams had a good offseason.
Yeah, very solid.
You guys got Jake Moody, bro.
Bro, the only good move we made was get Javon Hargrave, and that is it.
Yeah, but you guys are tough already, so you just need a quarterback.
Anyway, D-Hop watch.
D-Hop watch.
D-Hop watch.
Hey, all our teams will be in the playoffs again. Hopefully.
Facts. I hope so.
Hey,
Hopefully.
shout out.
I think mine's the least likely.
Shout out PFF Sam Munson.
Yeah?
He had his favorite picks for each round of the draft.
Mozzie Smith was his?
No, actually, he wasn't. But you know who was?
Wait, can we guess?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is hard.
It's be that fucking Jets guy.
Wait,
isn't it?
in the first round, his favorite pick, Christian Gonzalez?
No, it's going to be that fucking Jets guy we were
Will
ripping
McDonald
on.
to the Jets.
McDonald.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I trust Sam Munson more than myself.
What was the whole round?
He had Brian Branch in the second round. Definitely fell. So
Sure,
Lions
yeah.
drafting Brian Branch, obviously big one
Oh,
there.
the Lions got Brian Branch?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They had like 5 picks in the first 2 rounds or something.
All right, we got to wrap up, but
All right, Darnell Washington in the 3rd round, Charlie Jones in the 4th. I don't think we know any of the rest, so yeah,
Darnell.
Is Charlie Jones that receiver?
possibly.
Hey, Sam doesn't know
Purdue,
anything,
the
though,
white
so-
wide receiver?
Hey, Sam
He's
is a
nice.
smart guy.
He's a
Around the
smart
league,
guy.
us GMs, we're saying
We know
the
more
Jets
than those
fucked it
guys,
up,
so
bro.
yeah, sure.
all right. Well, thanks for tuning in, Caps Off Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and follow all of our socials.
Almost
and
at
all those
10K
things.
subs.
And follow us
Yeah.
on Twitter now.
Follow us on
Caps Off
Twitter.
Podcast.
Caps Off Podcast on Twitter. Give us a follow. Send us your topics, whatever you want to
Twitter
talk
got
about. All
pissed
right,
at
we'll
me
talk.
on
We'll
that
see you
the
next
other
time.
day.
Bye.
See ya.
Subscribe to the Caps Off Podcast right now. Hit that bell right now. We're gonna get Jack and Ass Tat if we get to 10K subscribers. Subscribe.